PTO names. The same thing again from departments, overtime rules, and users. Very easy to add. Just click the green button here and then enter the PTO name. The PTO code again is just optional, and then enter whether it's a paid, partial paid, or unpaid PTO. Then once you're done, just click add and it should reflect right away here. But as you can see, there are already preloaded PTO names here. So it should be the comp time, holiday, other, personal, and vacation. So you can also edit, delete, and archive these PTO names. And the same thing, just click show archive PTO names if you have any. Click the delete or unarchive button. For the PTO assignment, so you can assign specific PTOs only to employees, so that way they don't have all the PTO options. So you can select whether assign it to all users or assign to selected departments. And as you see, you just simply click assign more again, and then there should be an X button to remove the employee's name or department's name. And then also there's assign to selected users so that you can assign specific employees with these PTOs. Then we go to PTO accruals. So this is where you set up how the system would automatically calculate for the PTO accruals. So as you can see here, I want to set up a holiday PTO for this employee. Just click edit. The frequency is how you want the system to calculate the PTO accruals of this employee. You can select whether it's a daily, so whenever your employee clocks in and clock out for the day, that is automatically a frequency, or an option that would start the calculation of the employee's PTO. So there's a weekly, monthly, yearly allotment, and of course based on hours worked and manually entered. So the most commonly used one is the based on hours worked. So you just select here how much you want to award the employees. So the award rate should be 0.33 hours for each hours of work. Then once you click that, then you select the start date on when you want the calculation to start. Then you also have starting hours, so this is like the balance of the employees PTO. Let's say just 5, and click save. So it should reflect right away. So as you can see here on the accrual rule, this will be the calculation of the employees PTO accrual. So for 89.1335 hours worked at the rate of 0.33 hours per hour, the employee has already accrued or has a balance of 29.4141, or 34 including the start hours or the carryover hours for this employee. So this is the total number of PTO accruals for the holiday PTO the employee has. So you just select which frequency you're most comfortable on using, and then just select how many hours you want to award the employees. The award time is when these PTO would be rewarded. So it's either the beginning of the period, the start date, or the end of period. So it's if it's yearly allotment and you select the start date as January 1st, then the PTO accruals would be rewarded by the 31st of December. If you don't want that, then you can just change it to begin period, so that way on the 1st of January they already have all their PTOs preloaded for them. So very simple as that. And also you will see the change history here. Just click on that button, and then you will see here which PTO name has been changed, what is the old frequency, what was the new one. You will be able to see here, as well as the action date time or when it was edited. Now we have hours adjust types as well. So the same thing again, users, departments, overtime rules, PTO names. There's a green button to add a hours adjustment, so you can enter your hours adjustment type name here. You can select whether it's an addition or deduction, whether you want to include the overtime calculations or not, and then whether you want to adjust the employees' time cards either by hours or the amount to pay the employee. So you just select which one you want. For example, here we have absent hours. It would be a deduction. So it would not calculate the overtime, and also it would be deducted via hours. And then, as you can see here, there's also an edit, delete, and archive button. You see the archive hours adjustments here, and then the option to either delete or archive or unarchive rather the hours adjustment. The next thing we have jobs. So this will serve as tagging on your employee's time card. So you can use this option. You can just disregard this option if you want to, but this is just a tagging on like how what the employee is doing for the day when they clock. Let's say for example here, click add job, select a job name, desk work, and then if you could remember on the other video on this page, there when your employee clocks in or clocks out, there's an option to select the shift, the job, the department. So this is where the job comes. So you can select whether which task the employee would be doing upon clocking in for today. Then you can select, of course, whether if this job is paid, partial paid, or unpaid. And click add, and then it should show up right away. You will see here the payment, the job code, the job name. Again, we have the edit, delete, and archive buttons. You see show archive jobs, and then again the buttons to unarchive or delete the jobs that are located here. Then we have the job assignment, so you can select which employees would only see which jobs only. So you can select whether you assign the jobs that you have created to all users, to selected departments, or to selected users. Never forget to save after you make some changes. Then we have the shift. Again, we have the green button to add the shift. Click that one, enter shift name, and again the code is just optional. Then we have the start time and then the stop time. Then we have the option here to auto clock out the employee. That way, when they forgot to clock out, you don't have to worry about missing timeouts since our system would automatically clock them out for you. Then we have the restrictions. So we have clock in and clock out restrictions. The first one, this would serve as like the clock time limit. So if they clocked in or clocked out later or earlier than the start time or stop time, it would record it as the set start time or the stop time. Doesn't matter if they clock in earlier than 8, it would still be recorded as 8. Doesn't matter if they clock out later than 5, it would still be recorded as 5. We have not allowed to clock in, not allowed to clock out. So if you're very strict with the attendance, then you can use this option. So for this one, your employees won't be allowed to clock in earlier than 8, and then they won't be allowed to clock out later than 5. And then also, or before 5 rather. And then also the last one would be not allowed to clock in. So if they are late, they won't be allowed to clock in after 8 a.m. And the same as here, if they clock out, try to clock out late, they won't be allowed to clock out after 5. And then just click add, and right away it should reflect here. Again, we have the edit, delete, and archive button. Show archive shifts, we have the delete and unarchive buttons there. And then lastly, we have the shift assignment here. This is again where you assign the specific shifts to the employee so that they would only be able to see just the shifts that should belong to them. And then you can select whether it's you assign to all users, to all departments, or to each user.